and welcome to the Rundown. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and here are some of your top stories for today, the 13th of November. The Baldwin family is left with more questions as the investigation into the teen's death continues. And states ramp up for the biggest vaccination efforts in U.S. history. Also, Black and Asian people at greater risk of getting COVID. Study finds. An Atlanta principal and wife drowned while vacationing in Puerto Rico. Also, Barack Obama has a damning description of Lindsey Graham in his new book. The former president compares the South Carolina senator to a movie character, and it's not a good one. Also, a man arrested in California for allegedly killing and dismembering a transgender woman out of Pennsylvania 5 months ago has been found. On June 7, 2020, Dominique Rem'mie Falls was brutalized body was found floating in the Schuylkill River in West Philadelphia. Let's get to the news. Family members of the 15-year-old boy found dead near Lauraville want more answers on the case and the cause of death. The family says that they were told that Quan Charles drowned. Now they are seeking an independent autopsy. Charles was reported missing on Friday, October 30th in Baldwin. Family members say Charles left his home with a 17-year-old friend and the teen's mom without permission. Charles was found dead in a rural area near Ed Browser's Road, near Lauraville 3 days later on November 3rd, 2020. They still haven't shown us where Quan was or what creek he was at. We can't even go to put up a cross where he was found. They're being very discreet. A spokesperson for the family is saying. The spokesperson also said that she and other family members do not believe that Quan drowned because of the graphic photos of Quan's body that circulated on social media. His face is disfigured, so there is some explaining that needs to be done there. His face is disfigured. The attorney, Ron Howley, is representing the family. We have no answers, but we will get them, Howley said. They were just told things like, he's probably at a football game, he's probably here, he's probably there, anywhere else. And we don't know if those delays could have contributed to his death. We know when there is a missing child, the most crucial moment is when the first call is made to law enforcement and the child is missing. Howley, in a release, says that they are demanding the arrest of any parties involved in the death of Quan Bobby Charles. They are also asking for preliminary findings of the coroner report as well as the cause of death and answers from the Baldwin Police Department as well as why an Amber Alert was never issued for Charles. With a COVID-19 vaccine drawing closer, public health officials across the country are gearing up for the biggest vaccination effort in U.S. history, a monumental undertaking that must distribute hundreds of millions of doses. Who is the first in line and ensure that people who get the initial shot return for the necessary second one? The push that could begin as early as next month when federal officials say the first vaccine may be authorized for emergency use and immediately deployed to high-risk groups such as healthcare workers. The cavalry is coming, Dr. Anthony Fauci said on Thursday on ABC's Good Morning America. He says he hopes shots will be available to all Americans in April, May, and June. Pfizer also boasted hopes this week, saying early data suggests its vaccine is about 90% effective. But the news comes in one of the most grimmest weeks of the pandemic so far. Deaths and hospitalizations and new infections are surging across the U.S. and turning up the pressure to get a vaccine efforts right. In Philadelphia, the health department is counting how many healthcare workers and others would be among the first in line. In Louisiana, officials are planning a remote exercise this week to play out different scenarios, exploring how the process might unfold. States and local officials are also planning for a likelihood that the first shipment will not be enough to cover everyone in high priority groups. Similar precautions are happening at federal level. For the vaccination efforts to get off the ground, state officials have begun readying systems to track supplies and who has been vaccinated. That information will be fed into a national network and will be critical in giving federal health officials an up-to-date picture of vaccinations across the country. Providers such as pharmacies and doctors' offices will also be able to look up records so people do not have to return to the same place for the second shot. More than one vaccination could become available, and doses cannot be mixed and matched. Black and Asian backgrounds are at substantially greater risk of contracting coronavirus than white people, according to a study that highlights the disproportionate impact of the disease on different groups of society. Black people are twice as likely to become infected with coronavirus as white people, and people of Asian backgrounds are 1.5 times likely, researchers found after analyzing 50 studies that reported on the medical records of nearly 19 million coronavirus cases. Beyond the risk of infection, the review suggests that people of Asian backgrounds are most likely to be admitted into intensive care and may have a greater risk of death with coronavirus than white people. But the researchers caution that none of the studies on intensive care admissions had been peer-reviewed and that the increased risk of death was only borderline statistically significant. The dramatically different rates of infection are believed to be driven by a range of factors, such as living in larger multi-generational households and having more public-facing jobs where working from home is not an option. The research team screened about 1,500 published articles and pre-printed before focusing their analysts on the 50 papers produced in the US and the UK. The studies prepared between December 1st, 2019 and the 31st of August this year. Patients with COVID either had a positive swab for the virus or had crucial signs and symptoms of infection. And be sure to join Jay Wilson, Rebel Sun, The Official Kingpin, Conscious TV, and Captivating Christian this and every Thursday at 6:45 Central Standard Time, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time for the Gentleman's Panel, where we are not afraid to go there and discuss an array of topics. See you there. An Atlanta principal drowned while trying to save his wife while on vacation in Puerto Rico. The Westlake High School principal, Jamar Robinson, was swimming with his wife, Anne Marie, in the ocean behind a hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico on Sunday when his wife began to struggle against the current. He tried to save his wife, but they both were pulled under the water. School officials on Wednesday confirmed their deaths in a statement that remembered Robinson as an inspirational leader. Fulton County Schools is mourning the tragic loss of the Westlake High School principal Jamar Robinson and his wife. The statement read, "Robinson was an inspirational leader who brought joy with his passion for education and his students. We join the community in remembering him and expressing our condolences to his family." The Westlake football coach, Bobby May, also mourned the educator. "Our hearts are broken for the family of Mr. Robinson and Mrs. Robinson and the entire Westlake community. We are always going to remember Mr. Robinson as the principal who worked tirelessly, was always upbeat, passionate, never missed a game or event, and loved his students with a heart that was unmatched." Former President Barack Obama's new book, A Promised Land, hits the shelves next week, but the early reviews are already out. They cite some eye-popping descriptions of his political rivals. According to a New York Times review, Obama writes that Senate leader Mitch McConnell has discipline, shrewdness, and shamelessness, all of which he employs in the single-minded and dispassionate pursuit of power. Russian President Vladimir Putin is physically unremarkable, but reminds Obama of a Chicago ward boss from the city's infamous political machine. And the former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, the vice presidential nominee on the 2008 Republican ticket, had no idea what the hell she was talking about. But perhaps his most damning assessment of all was reserved for Senator Lindsey Graham, the Republican out of South Carolina. The former president compares Graham to a character in a spy movie who double-crosses everyone to save his own skin. Graham was an early critic of President Donald Trump, repeatedly attacking him during the 2015 and 2016 campaign for the Republican nomination. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot, Graham said of Trump in 2015. "You know how to make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell." But the senator has since come full circle, becoming one of the president's regular golfing buddies, as well as one of his staunchest Defenders on Capitol Hill. A Promised Land, the first of two-volume memoirs, is set for release on November 17th in print, digital, and audiobook form. Hey, this is Captivating Christian here to remind you to tune in to Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. And in a news update, a fugitive wanted for the death of 27-year-old Dominique Rem'mie has been arrested in Los Angeles, according to a police statement obtained by People magazine. Akhenaton Jones, age 36, was taken into custody in Los Angeles. Police stated, "We are awaiting extradition. Further information will be released upon availability." On June 7, 2020, Feld's brutal body was found floating in the Schuylkill River near the Bartram Garden in West Philadelphia, police told the Philadelphia Inquirer. Her legs had been cut off and she was beaten, with bruising found on her face, head, the local station reports. Dive teams found her legs in bags close to the area where her remains were found. She died of multiple stab wounds. Her death was ruled a homicide. A spokesperson for the city's medical examiner's office said, days after Feld's death, Philadelphia police quickly identified Jones as the suspect and issued a warrant for his arrest. Since issuing a statement on Monday, there had been no updates on whether he had appeared in front of a judge or obtained an attorney. Feld was a freelance fashion designer and known for the fashion show she organized in 2019 called Rock the Runway, a trans empowerment fashion show. Once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification button so you will never miss another news update. Have a great day. Peace.